Hey guys, welcome back to Behavior Strategies for Class. This is going to be a little bit different episode as I am recording directly onto my Podbean app, and you could probably tell I'm fighting a cold. You know, it's that season. Of course, it was my husband who gave me the cold, not the kids at school. Interesting, right? Anyways, today we're going to talk about how to minimize the challenging behaviors that you may be seeing even more now that the holidays are here. Lots of different things are going on in your students' lives and at home, and plans and activities and so many different things going on, that these 4 strategies will be really important to stay up with, because there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of turmoil with your students, lots of different things going on. They're going to be with different family members. Maybe they're going to be with their dad or their mom, who they aren't usually with, like over a break, and a lot of different changes and happenings. And so sometimes that all of those changes is a lot to take in, and your students have a hard time comprehending that. And so it comes out in their behaviors. We definitely see that a lot with our students in our behavior program. And so we work on these strategies on a daily basis. And those are keeping those clear expectations, to remember that their behavior is communication. What are they trying to tell us? That we have to be consistent, and we need to be proactive as well. And so one of our students, he struggles up and down. And so we really try and assess him, like when he walks in the room, is this really going to be a good day, or is he already, dysregulated and not interested? And so it's just going to be an uphill battle all day. So then we kind of approach him a little bit differently when we can tell like he's been having a rough time. We have another student, same thing. Their behavior could be all over the place, crawling all over the floor, not listening, telling everybody no, all of these things. And granted, and in both of their lives, there's a lot going on. So it also teaches us to be empathetic as well, because we really don't know for sure exactly everything that's going on with our students. But they bring it all to school. They bring it all to your classroom. So what is the best way you could handle that? So before we get started, I want to remind you, join my Facebook group, Behavior Strategies for Class. There's a lot of amazing educators there that you can learn from. Share this episode, hit that subscribe button, because the more that we can reach other educators to better understand your students' behavior, the better that we can change the climate in our schools, the climate in your classroom. And so, again, today we're talking about how to minimize challenging behaviors. So one way, and I know these are not new. I know you've heard these over and over again, but I really feel like we need to really dial in on these during this time, because, like I said, your students some of them are just really uptight and have so many emotions going on, like they have a hard time keeping themselves together. So the more clear that we can be with expectations, the more clear you can be on your daily schedule even, the more clear they know what is happening. And even if your daily schedule changes, what are those changes? And letting them know, like, it's okay. Sometimes things happen, things change, but you are still expected to be respectful, to follow directions, to do your work on time, all of those things. So keeping those clear expectations. I've seen a lot of teachers have students repeat back those expectations, answer the questions. What is it they need to do? Or how are they going to treat each other? Where are they going next? What do they need? Having them answer the question. That really helps to solidify that in their little minds. Next is to remember that behavior is communication. There's really a reason behind the way they're behaving. And you may not be able to decipher that out like right away. You know, your student all of a sudden has an outburst. You're not really sure like what just happened. But maybe, you know, you can take time and you can circle back and say, hey, buddy, like I saw you got really upset over here. You know, what happened? You know, is there something I can help you with? I mean, just taking time to talk to them, to be on their level, and to let them know that you care really goes a long way, that you see them, right? Because again, you want your students to be seen, valued, and heard. And so, all right, sorry about that. So again, you are validating your student when you can take time and empathize, try and understand where are they coming from, what do they need, and remember, like, behavior is communication. So the third way to help minimize challenging behavior is being consistent. And I know that goes without saying, but it's hard sometimes because I have seen teachers who are not consistent. In 1 minute they have, because 1 minute they're saying, you know, this is the expectation, like when I am teaching a lesson, you know, everybody has their listening ears on and nobody's talking. And eyes are forward and they're, you know, following through. And then other days you're in there and it's not that way. Students are having all of these side conversations and teaching is going on and there's just that inconsistency. And so, you know, that's not helpful for you as you're teaching your lesson. And that doesn't help them either because they need to learn to pay attention, to stop talking, to be active listening. And so doing your best to stay consistent is really important to help minimize those challenging behaviors because it's when they don't know obviously what's going on or they get frustrated and they can't hear you maybe, or maybe they're not listening. Sometimes that's when that challenging behavior comes out because they're frustrated and they don't know what to do. So again, just doing your best to be consistent. Another strategy that works really well is being proactive. So maybe it's at the beginning of class, you go over your standards or your expectations for the class. Okay, guys, so remember, this is how we treat each other. This is what active listening looks like. This is what's expected when I'm teaching a lesson. Whatever it is, this is how we walk in the hallway. Whatever it is that you need to do to remind them how to keep up with that positive behaviors so that they are listening and being the best learner that they can is obviously going to benefit you as well as benefit them in the long run. And also another way to be proactive is pointing out those who are doing the correct things. They're the ones who already have all their material and they're sitting at their desk and they're looking at you and waiting. Or they're actually helping a friend to get their stuff and then sitting down and they're ready. pointing out those students instead of those that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I've seen teachers use that a lot lately, and it really does work because the rest of the class is like, wait, what? Wait, what? She's not talking to me? I want to be recognized. And so it really does motivate the rest of your class to pay attention, to see where they need to be, and to get that recognition. So, again, these are strategies that you need to use on a daily basis to help minimize those challenging behaviors. Now, if you're still getting challenging behaviors, they're still not listening, they're still not following directions, I would really encourage you to be able to take some time separately with that student and maybe have lunch with him, or maybe have lunch with her or him with another student, and just talk about life. Don't talk about their behavior. Don't talk about academics. Just talk about their life. How are they doing? What are they going to do for Christmas? What are they looking forward to? Just really take time to get to know your students, because that really is what makes the difference. I mean, again, it circles back. Students want to be validated. They want to be seen, valued, and heard. And I know this is a crazy busy time, but if you could take any time for your students who are still struggling, who you still see having a hard time, talk with them. And if you're not able to, hopefully you can get somebody else at your school to do that. If you have a mental health team, maybe admin, school counselor, somebody to take time with that student, to notice them and just to talk with them and just to say, hey, how's it going? That really goes a long way. So again, how to minimize challenging behaviors, having those clear expectations. To remember that behavior is communication. As much as possible, stay consistent and be proactive. Acknowledge those who are doing the right thing. Encourage them to encourage others to do the right thing. You got this, guys. We are on the stretch for the holiday break, and we can do this because your students need you to listen. They need you to step up, to fight for them, to challenge them, to be their best, whether they like it or not. As one of my students I was working with today, he's like, it's too hard. And I said, that's your brain growing, dude. Like, your brain is just expanding right now. And he pushed through and finished it. So continue to encourage and challenge your students to be their best as you continue to be your best and show up for them each and every day. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for bearing with me on this lovely podcast. I have a cold, and hopefully I'll see you back next week, and hopefully I will not have a cold next week. All right. Thanks so much, guys.